You think you're smart because you think deeply, analyze everything, consider all possibilities before making a move, and you're broke and alone because of it. Not despite it. Because thinking became your substitute for doing, and now you're trapped in your own head, while life happens to everyone else. I've watched this pattern destroy brilliant minds for thousands of years. The ones who could solve complex problems, but could make a simple decision. The ones who understood human psychology, but couldn't hold a conversation. Here's what kills you. Thinking feels productive, feels like progress, feels like you're doing something when you're actually doing nothing. And by the time you finish analyzing the opportunity, it's gone. The person moved on. The moment died. You're not stuck because you don't know what to do. You're stuck because you can't stop thinking about what to do. Every decision becomes a dissertation in your mind with chapters, footnotes, appendices, counter-arguments to arguments you haven't even made yet. Should you start that business? Let me think about market conditions, competition analysis, potential risks, opportunity costs. What if scenarios, backup plans for backup plans. 6 months later, you're still thinking, and someone else already built it, failed, learned, pivoted, and is now profitable while you're still on chapter 3 of your mental thesis. Should you talk to that person? Let me analyze their body language, decode their social signals, predict 17 possible conversation outcomes. By the time you finish thinking, they already talking to someone who just walked up and said hello. Standing ovation for the strategy. You've turned decision-making into an intellectual exercise instead of what it actually is. A commitment to action despite incomplete information. But incomplete information feels dangerous, so you keep gathering data. Keep analyzing, keep thinking, until the decision makes itself by default, and you call that wisdom when it's actual cowardice with a philosophy degree. Money requires action, and action requires shutting off the analysis engine long enough to actually move. But you can't do that because moving means risk, and risk means being wrong, and being wrong means your intelligence failed you. So you think instead. You analyze market trends, study successful people, read books about wealth, understand compound interest better than most billionaires, and stay broke because understanding money isn't the same as making money. Every opportunity gets filtered through your overthinking processor. Is this the right move? Is this the perfect timing? What if I fail? What if I succeed and can't handle it? What if there's a better opportunity coming? Spoiler, you're always missing something because perfect information doesn't exist. And waiting for it is how you stay broke while calling it being smart. The person making money isn't smarter than you. They're just less paralyzed by their own thoughts. They see opportunity, make a decision in seconds, take action while you're still in the thinking phase. You're still thinking about your first move while they're on their 100th iteration, and you call them lucky while sitting in your brokenness, calling it careful planning. Your overthinking isn't protecting you from making mistakes. It's guaranteeing you make the biggest mistake of all. Doing nothing, and nothing pays nothing, no matter how intelligently you think about it. Relationships require spontaneity, vulnerability, imperfect communication, and all of that terrifies someone who needs to think everything through first. You meet someone interesting, and instead of just talking to them, you start the analysis. What should I say? How should I say it? What does their response mean? Are they into me or just being polite? What is my next move? While you're rethinking, they've re-gone, or worse, they're re-talking to someone else who just spoke without needing a strategic plan for casual conversation. Cute. You get into a relationship, and overthinking becomes your sabotage tool, analyzing every text, every pause, every word choice, building elaborate theories about what they meant when they said they were tired. They say, I need space, and you spend 3 days analyzing what kind of space, why they need it. What it means creating 17 scenarios in your head. Meanwhile, they just had a long day and needed to watch Netflix alone, but now you've manufactured a crisis through pure overthinking. And when they come, back you dumb all 17 scenarios on them. Here's what you can't see. Connection happens in the gaps between thoughts, in the spontaneous moments, in the unplanned conversations, in the imperfect, vulnerable human interactions You keep analyzing away. You think too much to feel, analyze too much to connect, plan too much to be present, and then wonder why you're alone while calling it being thoughtful. Comment below. What opportunity did you think yourself out of? What person did you lose because you couldn't stop analyzing? I already know, but you need to see it written out. Most won't, because admitting overthinking costs them everything feels too close. You think. If you think hard enough, long enough, thoroughly enough, you can eliminate uncertainty and guarantee outcomes. Adorable. Life doesn't work like that, but your brain can't accept it, so you keep thinking, keep planning, keep analyzing as if enough thought can control uncontrollable variables. The irony is, your overthinking creates more uncertainty, not less, because the more you think, the more variables you discover. The more angles you see, the more potential problems you imagine. So you think more to solve the problems your thinking created, and now you're in a loop. Thinking about thinking, paralyzed by your own intelligence. Meanwhile, people with half your IQ are making moves, taking risks, building businesses, forming relationships, living life with all its messy uncertainty. They don't need perfect information to act, don't need guaranteed outcomes to move, don't need to understand everything before doing something. You do, and that's why they're living while you're thinking about living. That's why they're in imperfect relationships. While you're perfectly alone, you're not thinking to make better decisions, you're rethinking to avoid making any decision at all, because decisions mean commitment, and commitment means being accountable for outcomes. If you never decide, you can never be wrong. If you never act, you can never fail. If you stay in your head, you can keep your perfect record of never trying. Your overthinking is fear, cosplaying as intelligence. Avoidance wearing the costume of careful consideration, paralysis pretending to be wisdom. And you've gotten so good at the performance, you've convinced yourself. You genuinely believe you're being smart by thinking this much, being responsible by analyzing this thoroughly. You're being none of those things. You're being scared and using your intelligence to justify your fear, turning your gift into your prison. Here's what you're really afraid of: being wrong publicly, failing visibly, looking foolish, being judged, confirming your deepest fear that maybe you're not as smart as you think you are. So you stay in your head where you're always right, because you never test your theories, always winning because you never enter the game. And you call that intelligence when it's actually the most expensive form of stupidity, knowing what to do and choosing to do nothing. If you're still watching, you're recognizing yourself in this mirror. Subscribe if you want more truth that makes you uncomfortable. Most people will close this video and go back to thinking about why they closed it. You're still here, which means maybe you're ready to stop thinking and start doing. Cute. While you've been thinking, someone else took the opportunity. You were analyzing and built a business. While you've been overthinking, that person you liked found someone who just talked to them. You didn't lose because you weren't smart enough. You lost because you were too smart for your own good, too thoughtful for your own life, too analytical for your own success. And now you're broke and alone, surrounded by your brilliant thoughts, your careful analysis, your thorough considerations, none of which pay rent or hold your hand or build anything real. Your thoughts are expensive. They cost you money you didn't make, relationships you didn't start, experiences you didn't have, life you didn't live, and the worst part. You do see the cost, because cost is measured in what did happen, and your brain does process absence, the same as presence. You see the mistake you didn't make by not acting. You don't see the success you didn't have by not trying. You see the safe choice. You don't see the dead life. So you keep thinking, because thinking feels safe, and safe feels like winning when it is actually just slow losing. Death by overthinking, life by default. You have two options, and you've been overthinking both of them for years. So let me make it simple. Option 1. Keep thinking. Keep analyzing. Keep waiting for perfect information that never comes. Keep gathering data while life happens to everyone else. Die with your brilliant, unexecuted ideas and call it being wise. That's not wisdom. That's waste. Or option 2. Learn to act with incomplete information. Make decisions in minutes, not months. Be wrong quickly so you can adjust quickly. Fail fast so you can learn fast. Think less and do more, even when it feels reckless. This means tolerating uncertainty, accepting you'll be wrong sometimes, being okay with looking foolish, risking failure, committing before you're ready. Your brain will scream, "This is dangerous," and it is. Action is always more dangerous than thinking, but thinking is more dangerous long-term because it guarantees nothing while disguising itself as something. You'll have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, making imperfect decisions, taking imperfect action, having imperfect conversations, building an imperfect life. And here's the part that might break you. Most of your thinking won't matter. Most of the variables you analyzed won't come up. Most of the scenarios you prepared for won't happen. But the one decision you make, the one action you take, the one conversation you have will matter more than 10,000 hours of thinking about it. The solution isn't to stop thinking completely. It's to put a timer on your thinking and honor it. 5 minutes to think about a decision, then decide. 30 minutes to plan, then act. 1 day to analyze the opportunity, then move or let it go. Your brain will say, "I need more time." And you will say no because you have had years and you're still in the same place. Start making tiny decisions quickly. What to eat? What to wear? Which route to take? Practice deciding without analyzing. Train your brain that imperfect action is better than perfect planning. Then graduate to bigger decisions. Start that side project without knowing if it'll work. Talk to that person without rehearsing. Invest that money without analyzing it to death. You'll be wrong sometimes, and that's the point. Being wrong through action teaches you more than being right through inaction. Failing forward beats standing still perfectly. And here's what you'll discover. Most of what you were afraid of doesn't happen. Most of the variables you worried about don't matter. Most decisions aren't as important as you thought. The thinking that was protecting you was actually imprisoning you, and the action you were avoiding was actually freeing you all along. You wanted me to tell you how to think better, and I'm telling you to think less. Not because thinking is bad, but because you've overdosed on it and now it's poison. You're not broke and alone because life is hard. You rebroke and alone because thinking about life is easier than living it, and you chose easier over better every single day for years. Your intelligence is your greatest asset and your biggest liability. It can solve any problem except the problem it creates, which is solving problems instead of taking action. But you won't change. Most of you won't. You'll watch this video, think deeply about it, analyze what it means, consider implementing changes, plan your approach, and do nothing, just like always. I've seen this pattern 1,000,000 times. Brilliant minds dying in their own heads, intelligent people living small lives, overthinkers underliving, all while calling it being smart. Or you could prove me wrong. Make one decision today without overthinking. Take one action before you're ready. Have one conversation without rehearsing. Let me guess. You're already thinking about which decision to make. Cute. Next time, I reveal why you become what you hate. Why the person you despised is who you've become. The identity paradox you can't escape. See you then if you can stop thinking about whether to watch.